Alright, the show's out now, and I guess I should talk about it. Really didn't think I'll be coming back with this video, or so soon after my previous video on this topic, but regardless, when this show was first revealed, it took the world by storm, and not in a good way. My first video on it was just a montage video showing that the claims by some of the people working on the show saying it was unique wasn't really true. I think it was Adu Pade, apologies if I mispronounce anything, but again, I think it was him who said that. Now, I didn't create that video to be a dick, though I wouldn't blame you if you thought I did. I've never been good at tone, but I created it just to say that it was just a horrible trailer. I said in that video that showing what happens behind the scenes isn't a bad thing, but it really should not be a trailer. It's better as a special like the Power Rangers RPM episode and Action. It was an episode that went and shown the viewers how they do the things on the show, like the stunts and the bloopers. The only big misstep in that episode is that everyone, and I really do mean everyone, is in character for whatever reason. Though, wouldn't it be some shit if they had Venjex's tube at the craft services table? Regardless, the trailer we got told us practically nothing about the show. Then, after so many years later, we actually got a decent trailer. I thought it looked alright, but as a non-Japanese made anime, yeah, that's a no. It's similar to an anime art style, but just not close to what I think an anime art style should be. I'm being dead serious when I say the Boondocks is a better fit on Crunchyroll. Now, you may laugh, but I swear I'm not kidding. I have specific standards for anime, and none of which is actually being made in Japan. This is mainly because the word anime is just a shortened version of the Japanese word for animation, which is animation. I think I just butchered that, and I'm starting to think I'm going to be found dead in a ditch because I butchered the phrase to a Yakuza member, not knowing they're part of a Yakuza, but hey, I'll cross that road when I get there. Though, to get back on topic, I really could not get that first trailer out of my head, and the biggest reason why is when they stated how diverse the people making the show are. Now, you may wonder why that's a red flag for me. Well, I feel like people use how diverse a cast of characters or how diverse the creators are. I feel like people use that to hide the quality of the actual show. Having something diverse doesn't make me want to watch or play it. If the story intrigues me, character seems interesting, or the gameplay seems fun, that's when I look into the series. Okay, I think I should be worried that I use video games for all my examples on that, but regardless, diversity has just never been a selling point to me, and it will never be. In fact, I tend to find making diverse pointless, because I feel like it's the wrong thing to focus on. I mean, I love Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, anime, and that Netflix show Squid Game, and those shows being primarily Asian has never impacted my thoughts on the show or whether or not I relate to the characters. Though, when I bite a bullet, I tend to swallow the whole entire round. I mean, I sat through all of Redo of Healer and almost died from hitting my head on the wall because I just couldn't process what the fuck was going on in that show. But I say this because I felt like I bit the bullet with the original trailer, so I'm just here to see what we got. Now, is this a show that should have been put on Crunchyroll? Well, that's a no, but then again, X-Arm's on there, so yeah. This is my review of the Crunchyroll original, High Guardian Spice. In the story, we follow Rosemary as she attends High Guardian Academy with her friend Sage. Though before even heading to the school, we meet two other characters, Parsley and Time. Two more students for the academy, and throughout the story we see their adventures in the academy. By which I mean learning, I guess. I have to be perfectly honest, I have no clue what the hell is going on. There's a primary plot about a shady organization in this magic country thing trying to take over the world. I'm guessing using this magical rot thing, Now, where did this come from?
There's a simple explanation for that.
Okay, of course. Well, regardless, I don't have much to say on the actual story because I found it pretty boring. To be honest, actually, I thought most of the screen time would have been focused on Rosemary, especially because of her mother. When she was young, her mother, Lavender, had to go away for a bit. For what reason, we really don't know. I'm guessing at one point she started following this shady organization because at the end of the series, on a setup for a second season that's probably not going to come. She's working with this organization and says that they should execute someone who failed their mission. Now, the reason why I thought the show was going to focus solely on Rosemary is because there's plenty of possibilities for her to work through some abandonment issues because, while yes, she still has her father and brother, she looked up to her mother the most and would probably be devastated that she just never returned, kind of like how the dream sequences makes it seem. I don't know, a focus on something like that would definitely work, especially with her heart-to-heart with Professor Caraway. Since I'm guessing Lavender went away when Rosemary was pretty young, she probably has some sort of issues, and just talking things out with him, learning more than just that one adventure, give some backstory in Lavender, and maybe set something up for the future. I don't know, anything like that would work, which leads me into the world building, which isn't good. Like, legit, the only thing I know that works in this world is the magic system. There are two types of magic, old and new magic. Think of old magic like sending a letter in the mail, and new magic is like sending an email. With old magic, a caster has to create a glyph in order to perform the magic they want to use. With new magic, the caster doesn't need to create glyphs, and in some cases, pre-made spells can be inserted into the device for the new magic. Now, it's an interesting idea, and it has a good message about combining new and old ideas, but aside from that, that's all I really know. This isn't like My Hero Academia, where we know all the different class types someone can take at UA, and we already know what a hero is, even if the show never stated what a hero is. Hell, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is actually better at this as well, even with the whole Dueling Academy angle. I'm just not really sure what a Guardian is. I'm guessing a hero as well, and I don't know what this shady organization's all about and how this magic rot thing happened. It's just, the show needed more episodes to develop because this has been rushed to hell and back. Hell, episode 3, Transformations, has 3 fucking plots that doesn't have space to breathe. Okay, to elaborate, the school has a special period where one can focus on a specific skill that could help them in their journey as a guardian. Rosemary doesn't really have a clue, so Caraway asks her to see him in his office. They have a heart-to-heart where Caraway tells her about her mother, since Caraway and Lavender were friends when they were young. Parsley gets put on a special assignment to fix a painting in a hall. It's crooked and all she has to do is just adjust it back, which actually leads into a trap door. But then again, this was an automatic lock-in challenge. Yeah, no American's going to get that. But using the single tool she was given, she finds her way out while finding a nifty key. Just ignore me, my references are getting British for whatever fucking reason. Sage's plot is about her wanting to make this cat speak, though knockoff Manjome Thunder and her lackey comes in to fuck everything up. Now this causes the cat to hulk up, for a lack of a better term. And apparently he has a mission, and said mission is to make this rot thing go away, which is out of fucking nowhere if you ask me. Like, seriously, 5 seconds being on par with humans, this fucker knows about this rot thing and is somehow able to destroy it. Well, at least part of it, but still. Now, again, what is my problem with this? Each plot doesn't have time to breathe, and if you ask me, drop Sage's plot and save it for another episode, because Rosemary and Parsley's plot is a lot more interesting. Developing Rosemary's backstory and Parsley's lesson about learning to use only one tool is a nice one. Again, I'm not saying toss out Sage's plot, but just use it for another episode. Her potion practice is what she's focusing on for her individual training period, and the writers could have used the revelation of the rot either in the middle or early into this episode, showing that Time is concerned about it, and since she's the Ice Queen of the group, the show could have used this as a moment to get her to open up a bit, talking to Sage on why this is something to be concerned about and having them investigate ways to stop this, with them learning about the magic healing water, and y'all get what I'm trying to get at. And hell, you could even keep the cat hulking up. Have that lead into time, thinking about her past, and then boom, Kitty Hulk, rot, then the research I mentioned. I don't know, I think that could have worked out better. To try and end this section, let me talk about the tone of the show, because I swear it doesn't know what it really wants to be. A majority of the show is not unlike shows like Is the Order a Rabbit? And then it has moments where a fucking dragon gets slashed open, just wow. I think that's the show's main issue, balancing the light and dark nature, and it's not like that can't work. I mean, worst case scenario, you somehow make another Tyler Perry movie. But my point is, Madoka Magica and Kamen Rider Gaim are two of my favorite shows. But those are darker shows that started off lighthearted and slowly went into the madness. Well, except for Madoka, though I only really say that because of episode 3. Now, there's also cursing, which is, well, very out of place. I mean, I don't care about cursing, as you can obviously fucking tell. And if I had a problem with it, I probably wouldn't be a fan of GTA. Though again, my problem with it is it's just out of place. Characters rarely curse, and I'm not asking for the staff to add in Trevor Phillips, but a character that curses a tad bit more.
F you then!
I mean, there's Time and her father, and probably one other character, though that's about it. It feels more like a kid's show, and stuff like blood and cursing is just, for the millionth fucking time, out of place. Well, at least for the standards of modern day America. Trust me, you're not gonna get another Batman animated for kids. In terms of characters, I just didn't care for any of them. The worst character to me has to be Rosemary, only because she reminds me way too much of Akko from Little Witch Academia. Now, I do love upbeat characters, but there's a point where being upbeat can be hyper annoying. Everyone else, well, I mean, they're just there. I just didn't feel a connection to any of them, even in moments where they wanted me to feel something. Now, remember when I mentioned that dragon? Well, that was in episode 11, the Scypith, and where Icast goes into a river to help some merfolk with an issue with a dragon called the Scypith. It's normally a calm creature, but something happened to it to make it go at something.
Go crazy?
Don't mind if I do!
Now, they tried to capture it, but Sage ends up mortally wounding it. Because of this, it needs to be put out of its misery, and to the show's credit, it's a sad moment, but damn, I couldn't give a shit about this. Seriously, I was only half paying attention, scrolling through the site that will make me go bankrupt, that being Good Smile, and all I could think of was, they're making Inuyasha androids. I think I may buy the Sango android. The depth of the thing did get my attention, but revisiting this episode to get a better understanding made me remember Garo, and that is not a good thing at all. Though, unlike Jabby, the focus about the death is more on the character's reaction and nothing else. Though I don't really know enough about these characters to actually give a shit about them, so them putting the Scypith down wasn't emotionally impactful to me, and you know what, I'll just leave this story and characters at that. The story itself is boring and the characters are just forgettable, and at this point I think I would rather play Devil May Cry 2, and thinking about that game makes me want to hit my head on the wall because of just how fucking boring it is. The animation really isn't bad, to be perfectly honest, even with Shutterstock images, though that I cannot confirm. The only thing I was worried about was the action scenes, and they're not bad. The fight between Rosemary and Olive is actually really well animated, but that's really the only action-packed scene I liked. And it's not like the other fight scenes are bad, it's just I like this one. Though it could have been worse, it could have been X-Arm. The character design is fine, nothing more to really complain about. I do actually love all of this design. I'm not really sure why, it's just a really good design. And if you see any fan art of the show from me, it's most likely going to be of Olive. Other than that, again, the design is just fine. The intro and ending songs are just straight up horrible, generic as all fuck, and just not pleasing for me to hear. It has the right tone, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, it's just bad. I've heard worse. Seton Academy comes to mind immediately, but I still find these songs to be bad. Part of the reason is the sound mixing, because I just can't hear the actual lyrics, though thinking about them now, that may be a blessing if I'm being honest. And the animation to the opening and ending is just fine. Though what's really, really bad is the voice acting. Fucking hell, guys. I'm not a fan of this voice acting at all. And everyone has already said it, but Slime Boy is the worst. I can't understand this fucker. Oh, good lord. It's like they got a random kid off the streets just to voice him.
Oh, she's out back. She's elbow deep in turnips.
Y'all hear it too, right? Oh, fucking hell. The rest of the actors aren't bad, though. Lavender, she gives me bad vibes for the wrong reasons, and I only say this because for whatever reason during the flashback sections, her voice sounds seductive. Why do I think this? I have no fucking clue. It just sounds like that to me. Then again, my mind's been compromised for a long time, but I don't know. It just sounds so weird. It doesn't seem motherly like how it's supposed to go. It's just creepy because of the tone of the voice. Other than that, I hesitate to say the voice acting is bad. Well, just shit on Rosemary some more. I don't like her voice either. But the acting is passable. Nothing more, nothing less. So, yeah, I think it's pretty clear that I don't like this show at all, and it's just not for me. But at this point, these Crunchyroll originals just aren't stacking up. Though, admittedly, that is unfair because I've only watched this and X-Arm, so yeah, I should give these a better chance. I mean, I did hear good things about that Onyx Equinox show, so yeah, I may decide to look at the Crunchyroll originals at one point in time. Though I'm already doing that with 4Kids, because I'm currently watching through Ojamajo Doremi, brought here to the US as Magical Doremi. And hell, I also want to go through Nickelodeon game shows since they were a big part of my childhood. Though I want to wait until that new seasons of Legends is done and over with. Though, of course, the Red Jaguar had to be the first team to win the fucking temple. Fucking hell. First the Mask Shaka Zulu, now this? Well, at least the Purple Parrot team got to the temple first, so there's that. And I'm still going through Persona 3 because even though it's my favorite one, I remember why I don't like playing it, but I'm getting off topic. Taking an account of story, characters, animation, and sound, High Guardian Spice gets a 3 out of 10. I just don't have anything to say about the show. It's just bad in my opinion. Rush to hell and back and boring as hell. Normally I would restate my points here, but hell, I would just rather forget about the show until a second season comes up. And for those of you who are fans of the show, please don't expect a second season. From my understanding, the people who worked on the show have moved on to other projects. The creator himself, Ray Rodriguez, is actually at DC. I want to say working on a Batman comic. I'm not saying give up all hope. Legends of the Hidden Temple came back after all these years, and Bubsy, of all video game mascots, came back. So there is some sort of hope, and if you ain't a gamer, look this little shit up and you'll be shocked on how he came back. Though again, this show is just not for me, and it really doesn't belong on Crunchyroll. But hey, if you want to watch it, it's there for legal streaming. Though if you want some shows that I think are a tad bit better, then I actually have 4 this time around. These being Steven Universe, Purara Magi Madoka Magica, Ojamajo Doremi, and Power Rangers Mystic Force. In Steven Universe, we follow our title character, a human who's part gem. What is a gem? Well, it's an alien made out of a gemstone, and his mother was the gem who birthed him. With the help of the rest of the Crystal Gems, a resistance force, they fight off the forces of Homeworld, gems who colonize and just straight up kill planets. In Madoka Magica, we follow Kaname Madoka, who's given the chance of a lifetime to become a magical girl. And all she has to do is form a contract and fight witches. But things aren't really as they seem. I mean, seeing a poor girl getting decapitated doesn't seem to help. In Ojamajo Doremi, we follow Harukaze Doremi, a normal girl who also gets a chance to become a magical girl, though this time there's no soul trading.
Look it up.
No. Doremi turns a witch into a frog thanks to racial profiling, and is given the ability to cast magics so she can learn to turn said witch back to normal. Finally, in Power Rangers Mystic Force, we follow Nick Russell, the new guy in a town called Briarwood, and after meeting some interesting record store employees, they find themselves trying to track down someone in the forest, only to meet a witch named Udana. Thanks to her, they become the Mystic Force Power Rangers, and they fight off the forces of the Underworld. Though if you didn't like these shows like me, you may find something in the shows that I just mentioned.
Guys just don't understand that the bond between girls is just deeper.
Pardon my French, but you're an asshole.